Good afternoon, everybody. Meteorologist Frank Gaetano here, live from the Hail Palace with our daily hail forecast. As always, sponsored by C3 Group, Merlin Law Group, American Contractor Show, and Atlas. Check out those guys in the description to this video. There's a link to all of their Facebook pages. Hopping right into our weather headlines today, we do have wind and hail risks today. There's a marginal risk in portions of Texas and also a potentially significant wind risk in the northwest, giving them critical fire conditions up there. So we'll talk about that. And then we do have a small risk area for tomorrow, marginal risk area up north by the international border. And then, as always, we'll look in at the tropics at the end of the video. But first, we're going to talk about upcoming events that we have. We have this weekend's tailgate. OU is playing Kent State. That's going to be 6 p.m. kickoff. The flyer says 4 p.m. You can come a little bit earlier than that. Our tailgate is located next to where the Bud Wilkinson house used to be on Jenkins Ave. It's now a field, so we're right near that area. It's to the southeast of the stadium. That's going to be this Saturday, September 10th, so come on out and tailgate with us. You can even watch the game if you don't have tickets. We will have the game streaming at our tent. And then later on this month, we're going to the RCAT MRCA Roofing Conference. It's going to be in Fort Worth at the Fort Worth Convention Center. That's going to be September 27th through the 29th, so make sure you come out to that if you're going, and make sure you come see us if you are going to that as well. Current conditions around the country, beautiful conditions across most of the central of the country. We still have that rain up in the northeast, and then we have some storms going on in Texas as well as that system in the northwest I'm going to talk about in a little bit. But let's zoom in on Texas. We had some storms pop up earlier, some good convection that has weakened since then. We have an impulse that's moving south-southwestward that should fire off more storms this afternoon, so we're looking at scattered thunderstorms this afternoon capable of some marginally severe hail and some wind gusts potentially up to 60 miles per hour. And didn't zoom out to the temperatures, but we'll go right to the dew points then. It's muggy conditions, dew points in the upper 60s, and then as you get further south, there's going to be in the lower to mid 70s, and then again, muggy in the southeast, and super dry up in this section of the country right here. We're talking dew points in the low teens, which is going to aid those conditions for the potential spreading of wildfires if any fires get going today with this significant wind risk up that way. And what does that make it feel like out there with these feel-like temperatures? It is muggy, it's oppressive. We're already looking at a 94 feels-like temperature in Dallas, 90 down in Houston. So we're looking at, it's going to be 90s through most of Texas today, probably potentially up to feeling like in the hundreds in south central Texas with those dew points. And then it gets a little bit more comfortable as you move further north and west towards those lower dew points. So any hail in Austin, Texas? Yes, Austin is in the risk today for potential up to $half size hail. So if you can get any storms to actually form over Austin, we do have the potential for hail there. And take a look at our instability. So anywhere we see these brighter colors, that's going to be the more favorable conditions for that hail. So as we're going to go through the day, we see that instability building a little further towards the south and southwest, and that's going to be the fuel for those storms. And then once we get into the evening hours, that instability does go down, and then we go into the overnight hours, it will dissipate. So future radar, yeah, look right there. Austin, Texas, right on the future radar there, showing storms by about 1 p.m. in the Austin area. And as we get further into the afternoon, more storms are going to fire off here along the I-10 corridor, down 35. So San Antonio's in the risk area, Houston is in the risk area. All those cities are at risk for those storms today with the scattered storms firing in the afternoon. And as we get through the evening, that instability is going to wane. Those storms are going to die off as we get into the overnight hours, and then things are going to clear up during the overnight hours going into tomorrow morning. So future radar for the northwest. So the northwest, these aren't going to be very convective storms, but they're going to be wind producers. So they're going to be what they've been calling dry thunderstorms. So there's not going to be a lot of precipitation with these, but with the downdraft winds and how fast they are moving, we could see significant wind gusts up to about 75 miles per hour with some of these storms as they move quickly towards the northeast this afternoon and evening. numerous storms firing off. So a little bit higher potential of seeing that wind risk for some of the cities in the northwest risk area. So let's take a look at what this looks like graphically for our hail forecast. As we look at the hail forecast for southeastern Texas and south central Texas, a couple of cities at risk here, like I mentioned, San Antonio, Austin, College Station, Houston, Lufkin, all those places have the potential to see up to $half size hail. And then it's the same thing for wind, low end risk for San Antonio, College Station, Houston, Lufkin, Austin, you're again in that risk area as well. And then we're going to move up to the northwest here, where we have a little bit more of a significant risk and a higher probability. So Boise, Idaho, you have a moderate risk for seeing those wind gusts around 75 to 80 miles per hour with some of those storms. Same thing with Butte, Montana, and all the way east enough to reach Billings, Montana as well. So those storms are going to be firing this afternoon and going into the evening hours as you work your way further east with those storms. And like I said, critical fire conditions. So anywhere where you see this pink color here, that's going to be a red flag warning for all of those areas. So any fires that do spark, they're thinking it's a critical conditions for those fires to spread with those winds from those storms today. So if you are in that area, be very careful. Don't light any fires if you're out camping up in Glacier National Park or any of the national parks in this area with those conditions. Moving on to tomorrow, I did mention we have a risk up by the international border. Let's take a look at storms firing tomorrow evening. So this is going to be not that even long of a risk, but it's going to be firing around 8 or 9 p.m. tomorrow in northern Minnesota. We could see a couple of supercells that could produce some hail up to about $half size. And that risk is not going to be super long lasting. As soon as it moves out into the early overnight hours, that risk is going to go down. So really, mainly only northern portions of Minnesota are at risk for a few hours tomorrow for the potential for hail up to $half size. And really the only city that was worth highlighting in that area that has actual population is Duluth. Duluth is the largest city in that area, so you have a low end risk for hail up to $half size tomorrow for Duluth. Now moving forward into the end of this week and going into the weekend, let's push this through here. We do have this trough building in, and it's going to kick through, and that's what's going to fire off those storms on Thursday. So here's where we are at 6 p.m. on Thursday. And when we push that through going into Friday and Saturday, we see that trough dust to dig, and then we're going to see it kind of separate here into a cutoff upper level low. So this can potentially produce some severe weather in northern portions of the country and northeastern portions of the country as we get into the latter half of the weekend going into early next week. So maybe Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, we could see potential for some severe weather risk areas. Now going on to the tropics, take a look at Hurricane Danielle here. And she does her little loop-de-loop there, and currently around 80 miles per hour for that sustained winds, but as we move into Friday morning, kind of jumbled up here, but that does say, I believe it says 45 miles per hour, so I do expect Danielle to weaken by Friday morning, and it's just hitting fish, so nothing to talk about really for that one. And then we have Hurricane Earl. Earl is now a hurricane with winds 85 miles per hour, moving north at 8 miles per hour, and we're going to watch Earl move north here and then just miss Bermuda. So Bermuda, you are outside of the forecast track area. We're looking at a Category 3 hurricane potentially by Thursday evening, 115 mile per hour winds, and then briefly strengthen to a Category 4 before weakening. This thing kind of got messed up here. It said that earlier. They updated it between the time I put this graphic together. So they're still thinking Category 3 hurricane with winds getting up to 125 miles per hour. So those are the two hurricanes that we currently have in the Atlantic. Let's take a look at the potential for, there it is, 130 miles per hour. So 130 miles per hour they're thinking for Friday evening for Earl, and then Earl begins to weaken after that. So we do have a couple of areas to watch. Same thing as yesterday. We have a wave that's coming off the African coast 0% chance for the next 2 days, and then within the next 5 days, they bumped it up from 20 to 30% chance since yesterday for development for that wave. And we also have this wave that is far enough off the coast where we're seeing a 60% chance. So that was 40 yesterday, 60% chance in the next 2 days for development, and they maintained that 60% chance within the next 5 days. So make sure you stay updated with us. We're going to keep you updated on all the tropical weather. You can hit us up on social media or at Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. We are at HailTrace for all of those. And if you want to get in contact with us, give us a call, 855-334-4245. You can email us at info@hailtrace.com or go straight to our website, www.hailtrace.com, to find out more about who we are and how we can help your company. But for now, I'm meteorologist Frank Gaetano. Everybody have a great rest of your Wednesday.